Welcome. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me for this explainer today. We're going to unpack a really classic fable, The Monkey and the Fisherman. Now, it's a beautifully simple story, and there's real power in using simple, easy-to-understand language to tell a story. But the lesson hiding inside of it, man, it's something almost all of us have stumbled over at least once. We are going to examine the deeply dangerous, yet incredibly common illusion of ease.
So be honest with me. Have you ever watched an expert at work and thought to yourself, you know what, I could totally do that? Maybe you were watching a professional chef chop vegetables at literally lightning speed, or a skilled mechanic diagnose a car engine just by listening to a tiny rattle, and your brain immediately whispered, hey, that doesn't look so hard. Well, this explainer is all about why our brains play that sneaky trick on us. And we're going to use a very curious, highly overconfident monkey to figure the whole thing out. Okay, let's dive right into part 1, the skillful fisherman. Picture the scene with me, straight from our source text. We've got a peaceful riverbank, a really tall, sturdy tree, and a fisherman hard at work. High up in the branches of this tree sits a monkey, just quietly observing. He's got this perfect, completely safe vantage point to watch the world go by. Down below, the fisherman is just going about his daily trade. It seems like a perfectly calm setup, right? But it's actually the breeding ground for a massive, massive misunderstanding. As the text describes it, the fisherman threw his net into the water again and again with great skill. And this brilliantly illustrates what true mastery actually looks like in practice. When someone is an absolute master at their craft, their movements become incredibly fluid. It's almost like a dance, right? There's a perfect rhythm to it. The fisherman isn't struggling, he's just effortlessly casting, pulling, and repeating. But here is the ultimate trap. Because it looks effortless, an outsider watching from a tree is going to completely miss the years of practice, the built-up muscle memory, and the super nuanced technique that's making it all happen. Which brings us to part 2, the monkey's assumption. This quote right here is the major turning point of the whole fable. The monkey literally thinks to himself, how clever, that looks so easy. I am sure I can do it too. I mean, talk about absolute hubris, perfectly captured. The monkey is experiencing the peak illusion of ease. He sees the smooth practice motion of the fisherman throwing the net and immediately equates smooth with simple. Mind you, the monkey hasn't thrown a single net in his entire life, but just by watching, he genuinely believes he possesses the exact same capability as the master. Now, what's really interesting to contrast here is the fisherman's reality versus the monkey's perception. The fisherman's reality involves a lot of hidden technique. He's managing a genuinely heavy, cumbersome net, and he possesses a deep, intuitive understanding of how the water currents actually work. But to the monkey, it just looks easy. It's just tossing a piece of rope around, right? Surely anyone could do it. That massive gap between the true, underlying reality of a skill and a beginner's superficial perception is exactly where disaster is waiting to strike. And of course, the universe always provides the perfect opportunity to test a terribly flawed theory. After a while, the source text tells us the fisherman set down his net and went away to rest. The master has officially left the stage. The tools are just sitting there, totally unattended. This newly empty riverbank creates a highly dangerous, totally tempting vacuum for our overconfident monkey sitting up there in the tree. Let's move on to part 3, the tangled fall. So, the monkey's assumptions are about to collide head-on with reality. Step 1. He climbs down at once. He doesn't hesitate for a single second. Step 2. He picks up the heavy net. And notice that word, heavy. This really should be his very first physical clue that there's way more to this task than meets the eye, but nope, he completely ignores it. Step 3. He immediately begins to copy the moves he watched from the tree. As an audience, we know exactly where this sequence leads, and the dramatic irony is just off the charts right now. The monkey confidently declares, this is how he does it. He is perfectly mimicking the physical choreography. He brings his arms back, he swings his whole body forward. But the text explicitly notes a critical failure occurring in real time. He did not really know how to use the net at all. He is perfectly copying the surface-level action, but he is completely missing the foundational knowledge of how the tool actually functions. He's got the motion down 100%, but zero understanding of the actual mechanics. And the result? Instantaneous, spectacular chaos. Because he has no idea how to properly cast the mesh or release the weights at the exact right moment, he immediately gets totally tangled up in the ropes, he completely loses his balance, the momentum of the heavy net just pulls him forward, and bam! He tumbles directly into the Russian River. It's an incredibly abrupt, shocking end to his grand experiment in fishing. The physical consequences of his arrogance are immediate, and they are harsh. He emerges from the water wet, frightened, and barely able to pull himself back to the safety of the shore. I want you to contrast this image with the monkey sitting high up in the tree just a few minutes ago. He has gone from extreme, completely unearned confidence to a pitiful, terrified state entirely because he wildly underestimated the complexity of someone else's hard work.
So let's slow things down and unpack part 4, the final lesson. The story doesn't just end with a wet monkey coughing up river water on the bank. So, the crucial point is summarized perfectly in the monkey's own realization. He sighs and admits, "I copied every move, but I never understood a single one." This right here is the painful reality of learning the hard way. It's a highly poignant confession. He finally realizes that mere imitation is completely empty and often pretty dangerous if you don't grasp the underlying why and how of the action. He acted completely blindly. So here are the key takeaways we really need to emphasize from this failed imitation. First, true skill makes hard work look incredibly easy. When you see someone doing something flawlessly, you have to respect the invisible effort and time behind it. Second, copying actions without understanding the fundamental principles leads directly to failure, just like a tangled net. And finally, the ultimate rule of the fable: do not copy what you do not understand. Blind imitation is a trap that totally ignores the deep foundations required for genuine competence. Which leaves us with a rather provocative question to turn back to you. What are you blindly copying without truly understanding? Is it a new productivity strategy at work? Maybe a financial investment you heard your friend talking about? Or just some random life hack you saw online? Before you jump down from the safety of your tree and grab that heavy net, take a second and ask yourself if you truly understand the mechanics beneath the surface. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it leaves you thinking deeply before you decide to mimic the masters. See you next time.